Welcome back, dude and dudettes, to another wild episode of Send It Mate. We're here to talk about all things hunting and outdoors. And today, we've got something that'll keep your gear running smoother than a dingo's getaway.
That's right. Our show is brought to you by High Caliber, the gun and knife oil company that knows how to keep your firearms and blades in tip-top shape.
High Caliber is like the secret sauce for hunters, anglers, and outdoorsy folk everywhere. It's like the magic potion that makes your gun and knives happier than a dog with two tails.
You know, guys, I've been using High Caliber oil for a while now, and let me tell you, it's the duck's nuts. My rifle practically sings a lullaby when I take it out hunting.
And speaking of lullabies, ever tried sneaking up on a deer with a squeaky gun? It's a prime way to end up with no venison in the freezer. You'll be hungrier than a vegan at a bacon festival.
Absolutely. But with High Caliber oil, your gun will be quieter than a ninja in moonlight. You'll be stalking your prey with the grace and stealth of a mountain lion.
High Caliber doesn't just keep things quiet, it also prevents rust and corrosion, so you won't find your gear looking like it spent a season at the bottom of a creek.
That's right, and for you knife enthusiasts out there, High Caliber has got you covered too. Your trusty blade will slice through anything smoother than butter on a hot biscuit.
So, folks, don't let your gear become a rusty, squeaky mess. Head on over to highcaliber.com.au and grab a bottle of their oil today.
And if you use the code SENDITMATE at checkout, you'll get a special discount. I say again, use the code SENDITMATE for all your oil slick, stealthy hunting needs.
Thanks to High Caliber, you'll be sending it in style and silence.
So, gear up, oil up, and send it, mate. High Caliber, the ultimate oil for the ultimate hunter.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Send It Mate Podcast. I'm your host for this evening, Caleb, and it's just me tonight. No one else is here. Just me on my lonesome, and I can actually do whatever the heck I want because I have the soundboard, I have the controls, but we're in lockdown, so the other two boys can't even speak at the moment because I have them on mute. I have complete control, and I'm loving this, and maybe I should take them off mute. Boys, welcome.
Puts us on.
You're on. What's going on, gentlemen? You're not going to fucking speak. Okay, well, I'll just continue the episode by myself. It's all good.
Wanker. Just because
you're a bastard.
Oh, what?
What up? How are we coping, fellas? How are we coping with the old COVID Lockie Downy?
Well,
yeah, next question.
It's not great. Hence our format of the podcast tonight, where as of the recording, we're in lockdown. When this episode comes out, we will hopefully be out of lockdown. But yeah, we can't get together in the normal fashion tonight, can we, boys? It's a bit rubbish.
No, well, I mean, the upside is that the bottle of alcohol that I bring, I'm the only one who's drinking it now.
So you'll be done in 10 minutes?
Yeah, so you'll be asleep, and I see you already reclining. Josh is on a beach somewhere, according to his...
I'll tell you what, actually. So I've been that bored this week, I've started to learn Russian.
What?
I don't know why. So I was like on YouTube, and I'm just flicking through my YouTube feed, and there's like this learn how to Russian tutorial. So I clicked on it, and it was actually
Russian.
Interesting. So I wrote down the whole entire Russian alphabet. I learnt how to say hello. I'm now on to how to pronounce words. Privyet is basically if you know each other well. That's pretty much like hello. And I can't remember the others. I can't remember the rest of it.
I think I know what inspired you. I reckon it's the bunny challenge that's on Instagram. I reckon that inspired you.
What is the bunny challenge?
The bunny challenge. Look it up, man. There's a recording as a guy with a Russian accent speaking, and generally hot women do this thing where they have the camera in front of their face and then they flip their feet up and it looks like bunny ears, and then they put their asses in the air. It's called the
Okay. It sounds like it's a research subject for Send It Mate research purposes that I should probably do some research on the research.
I guarantee it's Josh's inspiration for Russian.
Nah, so actually, this come up probably about Wednesday night. And I didn't know. I didn't actually really look through like reels or anything very much, and that's when I saw the bunny challenge probably about like Thursday night. I was like, oh, fucking hell. And it just so, you know how it's like a coincidence? You're like, oh, Russian, and then that music on that challenge is sort of like in a Russian voice. You're like, oh, coincidence. Google's listening.
Sure.
I don't know.
So did you start learning Russian before or after you saw the bunny challenge?
No, before. I don't know why, man. I've literally got a notebook book that's full of Russian letters now.
What?
Well, the real give would be when your language preference for your phone just automatically changes to Russian.
I have to admit, man, Russian is so much easier than English.
I mean, I've always thought you've spelt in Russian. So maybe there's a link there.
Probably could be. I don't know. Weird.
I mean, that's random, man. Like the things you do in lockdown, hey? You're learning Russian. I've sorted my t-shirt
you can only
drawer out.
Masturbate so many times a day, man.
Well, you can't.
So.
Well, exactly.
Not with that attitude. Think yourself, bro.
What's your best?
My best? 8.
Yeah.
Best?
8 in a day.
8. Won't ask Caleb because he'll be in like the 30s.
Well, I just want to clarify the question. You've asked what's your best? Like, are you talking about number of times, or what was just what was just the best wank?
Cranks in a day.
Oh, I don't know.
Caleb's just so much he doesn't count because he loses count.
No, again,
he's dribbling pre-ejaculate 24/7.
Mate, again, it's
he's
about
touching himself right now.
It's about quality, not quantity.
Fuck off.
What's the definition of a quality crank?
Here we go. Would you rather have 3 wanks in an hour or 1 3-hour wank?
It depends. I use one 3-hour with like essential oils and some candles and some roses in the bath, and you're all by yourself with your favorite rosé.
No, are you ejaculating for 3 hours straight, or are you like masturbating and then you get one fucking bit of like 15-second excitement?
You just keep yourself going for 3 hours, and then at the end.
Oh no, that's like a marathon, dude. That's like raw skin. Yeah. That's like
no, that's the essential oils situation. You've settled in, you've got the essential oils, you've got all the resources, and you just go for 3 hours.
It depends. Like, do you start slow and then work your way up so that you got the mood right?
No, you just keep it going, man. It's called edging. You just keep yourself right on the edge for 3 hours.
No, I'm a hard and fast kind of guy.
We know what Josh is.
Josh is full of shit kind of guy.
Nah, fuck off. Josh is just about instant gratification.
That's a physical feat in itself for 3 hours, keeping yourself on the edge.
It's called training, motherfucker.
I call utter bullshit.
100% I've done that before. As if you haven't.
Wow.
I call utter bullshit, mate. My attention span doesn't go past 15.
I mean, anyway, I don't have to do that because my lockdown situation is a bit better than both of yours. So I have a partner that I can have assistance in these things with. So
fair point.
It's a bit different. So
all right, let's move on.
What's our point of interest?
Well, so because we've been in lockdown, I'm sure we can all relate to the fact that we do a little bit more online shopping, maybe.
Oh, you didn't.
I have. I've done some.
Yeah.
I haven't bought anything.
Guess what I bought?
Who got a credit card? Didn't one of you two got a credit card?
I applied for a credit card for shits and gigs. And I got approved, and I was like, why do I need a credit card?
Fucking hell.
That's beside the point.
You don't need a credit card though. Why did you just decide one day to be like, I wonder if I qualify?
I literally got my online statement and was going through, and at the end it had like, oh, apply for a credit card now. So I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, they suckered you in.
Man, do you know how many of those I've ignored and put straight in the bin? And they got you. I don't believe that.
Look, but
They
mate, I'm
send
sure we
me
can all
credit cards
relate.
without me even applying for them.
That's bad.
I've got
I'm sure we
like 3
can all
credit
relate.
cards that I didn't even ask for.
I just can't believe that
Sick.
marketing ploy has worked on you, Josh.
3, that's dangerous, and I'm sure we can relate because we have all been bored as fuck for the last 7 days.
Well, I did some online shopping, and those of us who have been listening keenly will know that we had Jericho Australia on last week, and I actually bought myself some more beard balm because they had a 15% off flash sale. So I bought 2 tins of beard balm. Some new scents that I haven't tried before.
What flavour?
Oh,
Well, I usually roll with salted caramel. I bought, what did I buy? I bought vanilla liquor. And
I don't know. It was going to be vanilla, like a real girly, soft note. He was going to
Real
go
fucking
for it.
boring. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was the other one I got? Hang on, let me have a quick look. I can't remember what the other one was actually.
Wow, you must have been really. What was this, like a 2 a.m. purchase after your 3-hour wank?
No, it's because it had a.
Air high five. Woo!
Shut up. The other one I got was The Godfather. All right, I just couldn't remember it.
Oh God.
So that one I'm very interested to try.
You're like, I can just imagine you, just like you've got jizz everywhere, and you got your cum to. She's trying to mop everything up. You're like, I could really go some new fucking beard, babe.
No, because he's using the essential oils to wank with, mate.
Hey,
My dick smells pretty.
look, I mean, I will put it in the review. Also suitable to masturbate.
Oh shit! All right, can we let's move on. So
All right, so why have you brought up online shopping during lockdown, Josh?
So I've been looking for some pants, some like nice slacks that are like nice enough to wear out to like, a restaurant or, go to a meeting in. But yet, if shit hits the fan, you can still run and gun in them.
So
right?
slacks are like suit pants.
Yeah, so basically trying to find a pair of pants that looks appealing like suit pants, but yet functional like our hunting pants. So
you're
I've been looking around.
You've been looking for the pants version of the mullet. Business in the front, party.
Party in the back.
Yeah, man. Yeah, mullets are in session, so we're good.
Okay.
Anyway, I've been looking around. I went through First Light, had a look at them. I looked at who's the mob that you like?
Hunter's Element.
Hunter's Element, and I didn't really like the zips everywhere and all that. And then I came across some Kuyu pants, and they've got like this sort of light tan pant, and it looks absolutely amazing. It's the Kuyu Attack pants.
Hang on, light
I mean,
tan.
the name says it all.
You were telling me you were after OD green.
I wanted OD green, but I decided to go with the light tan sort of colour.
Goes with all shirts.
I don't.
No, that's a rookie mistake, man. So you've taken your bird out for a nice dinner. You've spilt a little bit of red wine. You've spilled a little bit of the
It's
fucking
not as versatile as you want it to
steak
be, bro.
juices. Nah, man, the tan pant is not going to do the trick for you.
Nah, because
Goes
tan.
well,
I think
goes well with
tan
a
you can
solid
get away
Hawaiian
with.
shirt.
Tan you can get away with like more coloured shirts. I think that like sort of match.
I can just see you now. You're like
Anyway.
that guy who takes, like, he's got his tan, like, combat pants on with his Hawaiian shirt and a utility belt that's
Bro.
quite obviously been trying to be covered up with your big Hawaiian shirt, and you wear sunglasses inside,
Why-
but they're like speed dealer sunnies.
Bro, you laugh, but when you're caught out in your fucking tight little chino fucks and they're like, I don't know, shit, it's a fan, and you're trying to fucking run down the fucking road while you've got a diaper in your pants, mate, and I'll be like just speeding ahead, doing combat
have you
rolls
know
and
that
backflips.
the chino stretch pant accommodates for high speed running. Tried and tested, my friend. And there ain't nothing I can't do with a butter knife that you can do with a Bowie.
You can
I've seen
buy
you do your combat roll in your chinos, actually.
you can buy stretch tradie pants now as well. So, like, I don't know.
No, I didn't want that tradie look with pockets everywhere. Like, I want it nice and clean. The only thing with the Kiwi pants is they're $212 Australian.
Wow. It's a good thing you got that credit card.
So what you're telling me is you're never really going to look the part if you want to look dressy. You're always going to look slightly odd. But
Do you know what is
that's
an
all right.
untapped market? An untapped market right now is a business suit that has been designed for when shit hits the fan. So it's like a utility business suit.
Fuck
With, like,
yeah.
the bug out suit.
Pockets. It's got like Kevlar lining. Carry like your magazine for your AK tucked away in your business suit, just in case the shit hits the fan.
Fuck yeah.
I feel like if you get to that point in life, you're just going, fuck it, I'm just wearing something practical at all times. I'm not dressing up for anyone.
I just
but
wear fucking camo and webbing to work.
No, you're right, Caleb. But you want to look presentable still. And so I'm like, oh, well, I'll just get some nice looking pants that are still functional. Sorry. And after all of it.
Why not just keep a spare pair of pants in the car?
Nah.
Why are you going to run to your car? What about the distance from the table to the car? You're fucked if you haven't got your utility active fucking combat pants on.
Caleb runs past his couch or past his bedroom to go to the car to put his pants on.
But he'll smell delicious doing it.
I just think you're trying too hard to be ready at all times.
You know what? It's. I think that there's a bit of a conspiracy here. I think you're preparing for the Russians to invade, so you can talk to them, but they'll leave you alone because you won't look conspicuous in your no pocket pants.
I'm not saying it couldn't happen. No, the thing that made me really think about this is more to the fact that I keep using my good set of Levi's when I'm like going out to dinner or something, and then I'll use them when I'm changing the oil in the car, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, oh.
That's just poor planning on your behalf. Just fucking get changed, man. Stop being so lazy.
Nah, because I just get in my mindset and I'm like, oh, the car's got to be done. I'll go do it. And I don't know. I just wanted to set a pants that could do
same problem. I suffer from the same problem. So I've got two pairs of like nice jeans because I had about 8 pairs of nice jeans to wear to work. And then all of them got like welding burns and oil streaks and cuts in them just because you just get home. I fucking do shit.
Yeah, exactly. And people like you and me change the oil on their own car. Not like Caleb. I've got to do a service today. I have to sit on the waiting couch for 3 hours. Fuck.
I mean, you're mocking me, but literally every time my car gets serviced, I just go and sit at the fucking place and do work, in air quotes, while someone else does all the hard work. But we all know this situation has changed because I've recently changed jobs and bought my own car. So I will no longer be having company vehicles and the luxury of getting someone else to.
If you want, I can get Archie to come around and give you a few pointers on how to change some oil, mate.
I'll give that a miss. I actually want my car to work, unlike yours, which barely made it to my house last week.
Oh, mate.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That. He didn't.
I'm sorry, but I'm not taking pointers on vehicle maintenance from Brian.
Bit of background for those playing at home. So I got in the car to drive to Caleb's house. I think it was the night of lockdown. So I was towing a trailer full of sand and concrete mix, and the car was fine when I'd driven it previously in the day. Got in, and it wouldn't do over 40 k's an hour to Caleb's house, and I'm swearing and cursing and fucking carrying on. And then I was convinced that either the trailer had blown a bearing So it was towing like shit. There was something wrong with the car, and I'd recently serviced it. So I pulled up in front of Caleb's house, all pissed off in a rage. Josh is standing there with a cigarette, like, no, you'll be right there. No worries.
No,
It's all
wasn't
good."
smoking.
But, oh, no, you weren't. You were saying you wanted a
No.
cigarette. I'm sorry. I'm just so used to you having a cigarette in your mouth. But so I've unhooked the trailer and I've burnt down the fucking road just to like run it. And not, but it was fine. Like kicked up to 100 k's an hour, no worries. And then I was like, oh, fuck it. Started pissing down with rain. So I got back in the car after we recorded the podcast and the thing worked fucking fine. There's nothing wrong with it. So I don't know what was going on there. So if anyone has any idea, D22, I think it might have gone into limp mode.
Handbrake.
Maybe I had the handbrake on.
Handbrake. I've just diagnosed the problem. And thanks for rehashing that fucking boring
it
story that we
definitely
told
wasn't a
everyone last
handbrake.
week, by the way. We did tell everyone about this story last week before we recorded the podcast. In fact, we recorded that on the podcast before we spoke to Josh from Jericho.
I know, mate.
We did.
Anyway,
We did.
some of us listen to our recordings.
I don't waste my time listening to myself. I know I sound good.
Well,
Talk it up.
anyway,
Next minute, you're going to be spending 3 hours having a wank.
yeah, no, I won't escalate to that. But
mate,
So
they
anyway,
say if you
let's
spend
kick on.
10,000 hours of doing anything, you become an expert. So
I think by the time you're 6 years old, mate, you're going to become an expert at how to use your own dick.
6 years old? What were you doing at 6?
Mate, I was proficient in fondling myself at 6.
oh my god!
Oh my, exactly.
Shit.
Oh my god!
Anyway, should we
Oh,
move
well,
this on
moving on.
and get into this week's topic? Because we're just rambling. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's
Yeah.
lockdown. We've had a tough week. It's night 6 of 7 days.
What's ND? Have we done that? That's at the end, isn't it?
Holy fuck, Ryan! What the fuck, my friend? Are you? Can you switch on?
We've only done like 43 episodes.
43 episodes in, you're
I
like,
haven't got a rap sheet to look at.
geez, man. Like, I know, all right, granted you don't have a rap sheet to look at the moment, but how do we go from point of interest to our last subject of ND in your mind? Anyway,
Well, to be honest, I have no explanation for that at all.
you don't. Just please be better. All right, let's get into the topic of this week, which is fucked up rigs. Thanks to Ryan for this topic suggestion, which we came up with in our
Bloody
little
good.
hiatus that we had.
Do you know what? For someone who's supposed to be in control of all of the buttons, you're really fucking this up.
No, because before the start of this podcast, Josh and I decided that we didn't like the intro for the topic, so we're not playing any music.
Oh, you fucking serious?
So, Ryan, if you decided to be here on time, you would know these things. That's all I have to say about that.
Mate, do you know what? I'm 2 minutes late and you guys act as if you had some big fucking business meeting and went for 3 hours and decisions were made without me.
Well, I can tell you this. It went for 15 minutes and we made a lot of decisions.
It was 15. That's great.
Oh,
That's
dear.
good.
Anyway,
I
well,
hope you feel better about that.
for Ryan's...
Ryan's like, I actually worked like fucking 4 days to create that thing, and you just said you're not using it.
Yeah. No, good. Thank you. Thank you for shitting all over my hard work.
I'm sorry, but we don't have a topic intro song.
Anyway, let's move on.
We
You're
will.
up first.
We
Caleb.
will. And for Ryan's reference, you can write this on your hand or something, Ryan. I'm going to go first.
Hang on. Let me get a pen.
Oh, Jesus. All right. I'm going first. You can go second, and Josh
Just
will go
say it.
third. All right. Cool. All
Let's
right.
do it.
Fucked up rigs. Well, firstly, when I think of rigs, I think of a body straight away. So fucked up rigs. How did someone
You
get a
talking about
fucked up
yourself?
rig? No, I'm not talking about myself. Shut up. Oh, God. I'm going to edit you entirely out of this podcast. All right. So now, if there's a way to give yourself a fucked up body, it's to go from 105 kilos to 48 kilos in 71 days.
What?
Yep. 57 kilos, if my maths is correct.
Just over 2 months.
Yep.
Like 2.5 months.
Yep. 71 days, 57 kilos. So you can imagine if you're, a reasonably sized dude like Ryan's sort of size and you're 105 kegs, imagine what you'd look like at 48 kilos. You'd look pretty emaciated, think like prisoner of war, like out of the concentration camp. You're looking pretty, a skeleton basically. So I'm going to tell you a story.
Is this someone
Skin and
you know?
bones.
Is this someone you know?
No, it's not someone I know. Someone I've researched in looking up fucked up rigs. And I came across a photo actually of him first and what he looked like when he emerged. And the guy's
And then
name.
cranked for 3 hours.
Oh,
Sorry.
crikey. Yeah, that is my weight loss. You've discovered my secret, ladies and gentlemen. Just have a crank for 3 hours. You will lose between 5 and 7 kilos.
Yeah, but
That's just
he
in
wasn't
sweat.
edging though. He was just letting it out as it came. So 3 hours, he just slowly got skinnier and skinnier and skinnier.
Fuck me. Why did I say that? Anyway, you may or may not have heard this story. Jesus.
Sorry. Go
He's
ahead.
shooting all this protein out of his dick.
Look, if it works, I'll do it. Anyway, now I'm going to tell you how this guy lost all this weight, and it wasn't intentionally. His name was Ricky Megee. Have you heard of the story of Ricky Megee? It sounds like a mega.
Sounds like the Talladega Nights.
Is that his
Ricky
actual
Bobby.
name?
Ricky Bobby.
Oh yeah, his name was Ricky Megee. Yeah, that's it.
No, it's an actual it's a legitimate story. So Ricky Megee was an Australian bloke who back in 2006 was 35 years of age. And he lived in Queensland at the time, and he was making his way to WA for work. Now, as he was in the car, he was actually on the Bunteen Highway, which is on the border of WA and NT. Now, he basically, this is a survival story of him surviving 71 days in the desert. So there is...
Oh, so he broke down. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's 3 reported versions of events which led up to him waking in the desert. Now, this has actually never been like there's 3 versions of events that were reported to the media just after he was discovered. But then in his 2010 biography, which is called Left for Dead, he claims he came across 3 Indigenous Australians on the side of the road, which was the Bunteen Highway, and they'd run out of fuel. So he offered them a lift to the servo and then also shared some cans of beer with them from his car fridge on the journey.
Good bloke.
So, I mean, yeah, at this point he sounded like a good bloke. But then as he's sort of driving along, he's claims to have felt a bit woozy. And then next thing you know, he remembers waking up in the passenger seat before one of the men jumps in the back and then starts belting him. So they've just started wailing on him. Then the next thing he remembers, allegedly, is waking up in their camp. So they've got full setup of camp. They've got firearms. He's there. He feels, the best he can tell, he was sort of a bit drugged out. So he thought he'd been drugged. So yeah, he's woken up in the camp, and then they take his shoes, and the next thing he remembers is waking up in the desert in a ditch. So we're talking searing heat. He wakes up in the desert and he's woken up by 3 or 4 dingoes which are pouring at him. So he's grabbed rocks, chucked these at the dingoes to scare him off. So next thing you're going to do is, well, you're in the middle of nowhere. So he's in the Tanami Desert. So he sets off walking and it's, 40 plus temperatures. He's got no shoes on. So
Wow.
he starts walking. He's looking everywhere for water and, it's over 40 degrees. As we heard when we were talking to Nav who is Australian
3
Cowboy.
hours.
3 hours is about all you're going to last without any water. So this is in January, granted, which is the wet season up there. But, it still gets to over 40 degrees. You got no water. So what he did was he took off his pants. There's a couple of different stories. There was one that said he was already just in his undies. The other one said he had pants on. There's others where he was completely naked. That's what I mean about there's some varying versions of events here from the various media outlets. But what he claims he did was he took off his pants, pissed in his undies, took his undies off, and then wrung the liquid out into his own mouth and drank that just to unparch himself, I guess. So we're talking, pretty dire sort of situation.
So not only did he drink his own piss, he potentially drained his own piss through his own skid stains.
Yes, basically. I didn't think about that until you brought that up. But
It's a bit nutty.
was it Josh that was talking about filtering a water through a sock or something a few weeks ago in Doomsday Preppers?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know that you want to be drinking your piss through your underwear. Like maybe piss into your trousers and then wring them out rather than your jocks. But anyway, so he's naked.
Not just like normal. That's not normal underwear, man. That's like piss and blood and I don't know about blood, but like if you ran a marathon and then took those underwear and wore them for 3 days again, that's what you're pissing into, and then you're going to drain all of that shit into your mouth. That's a recipe for throwing up.
Look, he would have been better off. Now, you're saying it's the wet season, so is there water about? If not, he would have been better off digging in a dried creek bed or something like that.
Let me continue.
Water.
Let me continue. So it is the wet season. So what he eventually found was during the wet season, some seasonal.
It rains.
Well, yeah.
I just drank my piss for no reason.
Yeah. So at night time, it rained overnight. He actually thought he was delusional. Didn't think it was rain because of these heat stroke. He's severely sunburnt. But what he eventually came across was a seasonal pond. So obviously in the wet season, it rains and then it fills up some depressions in various spots in the desert with some water. So what he found was one of these, seasonal ponds. And bear in mind, it's near freezing at nighttime as well. So you've gone from extremes of 40 plus degrees to near freezing at night. That's some pretty extreme temperature differences. When you're, got basically heat stroke, you're sunburnt, you've only drunk your piss. So he comes across this pond, gets his fill of water to drink, but his next issue is food. He hasn't eaten. So what he sets about doing is eating ants, wasps, grasshoppers, frogs, lizards, snakes, and various plants to get some energy to keep him going. And what he did was use the sun to cook what he could. If you put something out in 40 degrees on a stick, which is what he said he did with the frogs at least, was, skewer them on a stick, put them out in the sun and they go nice and crispy. So semi-cooks them, I guess.
I call bullshit on that.
Okay.
Well, no, you can make jerky by pegging it out on a clothesline.
Yeah, but that just dries it out. Jerky's just dried out meat, not cooked meat.
Yeah, but
and what is he like? What
rule.
Is he traveling at this point in time, or is he waiting for the 48 hours for it to dry out to turn to jerky?
Well,
even that, it's longer than that.
He's wandered around. He's found a water source, and then he's decided to stay there for a period of time to then get some food to get some energy to move on to the next. I read somewhere where he said he thought the more he moved, the closer he would be to someone finding him. That was his logic, basically, rather than staying in the one spot. So he needed to get food to be able to get energy to move to the next spot. And basically what he did was just get energy from eating all those things I just mentioned, and then he'd use that energy to then move to the next body of water he could find, do the same thing, rinse, repeat, and he'd just use a few twigs and sticks and whatever as a shelter, and he did that for 10 days. So you can imagine after that time in the beating sun, you're going to be pretty knackered. After the 10 days, he ended up wandering into a cattle station and he found a dam. And then he found at this dam a rusty feeding trough, which he used that for a shelter. So he sort of built some dirt up, he upended it, built some dirt up around it, and he used that as a shelter. And then here, we fucking hate leeches, something chronic. He was grabbing the leeches from the dam and eating them live.
Oh.
Allegedly. And obviously this is all alleged because no one was actually there at the time, but he did take people back to the sites afterwards, and there's photos that exist online of, his little shelter that he set up. So I guess what's that? If he's 10 days in and he's found this cattle station with a dam, he's there for what's that? Another 60 days. So, all right, from the dam, he's moved on to some ruins that are around a windmill, and he ended up living there for a fair portion of the time he was lost as well. Now, something that happened while he was living next to this windmill was he got an abscess in his gum, like an infected tooth sort of thing, and he had his car keys in his trousers. They took his shoes, but they left him with like $12 something and like his car keys in his pocket. It's a bit weird.
How does that work? Because they were driving his car. How did he get his car keys in his pocket?
I don't know, but he had his car keys.
Well, they just took him out and then put him back in his pocket and left him out in the desert.
Mate, that's what I mean. There's 3 versions of this story. Of the events leading up to him being lost are sketchy. There's nothing been proven ever. Anyway, so he's sharpened his car keys and used that to pry out the tooth. So as well as being fucked from being dehydrated, or not so much dehydrated, but weak and sunburnt, he's pried out an infected tooth with his car keys. And by now he's lost more than half of his body weight and he's sunburned as fuck.
Look, I gotta. That's probably quite clever, to be honest. Prying out a tooth that's infected or something like that.
I still call bullshit on that though.
Nah, any infection in the mouth because it's so close to the brain, you got to deal with it. And not just that, we've all had toothaches. They hurt and the pain is just it doesn't subside.
But with car
it's
keys, the
consistent.
leverage that you need, to pull out a tooth, you could not do that with car keys.
Well, he sharpened it and then
maybe
he just dug
it
into
wouldn't
his
be
gum
pulling,
and got
it'd be
underneath it.
prying.
But he'd have to. Yeah, but it's the same amount of pressure. Like unless he's cut his gum all the way down to the bone.
Well, he
Sharpened his car keys.
Sharpened his car keys. Sharpened his car keys on a rock, I'm going to assume. So then once you get in under,
at best, you're talking about a dull blade. At best.
Yeah.
And you reckon he's going to slice his gums up to the point where he can extract a tooth? I call bullshit.
If you put that angled into your mouth and got a rock and smashed it, I believe you could do it. 100% you could.
Yeah, I reckon you could.
But that's not prying. That's just smashing out a tooth.
Yeah.
Well, it's prying out a tooth.
Okay. He's made a tool to help him pull out his tooth.
What would you call it? He bashed out a tooth?
That's clever.
He just knocked a tooth out. Like, why would you sharpen something if you're just going to knock a tooth out?
Well, to get under your tooth in your gum.
All I can picture is Ryan pulls like this big rock and then just smashes his head into the rock to pull one tooth out.
Fucking hell. Semantics. Let's not get caught up on the fucking the nitty gritty of this. So, I mean, by this stage, he's delirious. Really, he's got an infected gum. He's he actually put a cross up over his shelter because he expected to die there. That's how fucked he knew he was. And the other part of the story is that apparently there was a bunch of dingoes that were around the place, and they were sort of sizing him up because he was so weak and just almost ready to die that these dingoes
Why
were
wouldn't you?
lurking around.
Why wouldn't you take the sharpened key to a stick and try and kill and eat a dingo?
Well,
That to me is more plausible than pulling your teeth out with a fucking set of keys.
that would be a good idea. So what he actually had to do was block off the end of his shelter to stop the dingoes getting in at night as well. But again, that's a good idea, Josh. Why wouldn't you attach the sharpened car key and then try and stab them when they were trying to get to you? You might kill
That makes me wonder, actually, if he had to block them off to come in, he could simply make a narrow channel, nice kill zone with, a sharpened stick or something, kill the dingo or a dingo, survive one night, and then cook him up and eat him, and he's suddenly got protein.
Just cook him in the sun, mate.
nutrients.
Apparently can do that with 40+ degrees.
Well, even to be honest, eating.
Do you know what though?
Yeah, probably.
So he's got a rusty metal cattle trough. You telling me that's not going to heat up in a 40-degree day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be roasting.
It just sounds a bit. There you go, doesn't it?
Oh, the skeptic, Ryan. Anyway, so
Always.
71 days. He's eventually found by some cattle station workers. And what you should do is check out the photos of, I've forgotten his name already, bloody Ricky Megee. How could I forget that name?
Ricky Megee.
Ricky Bobby.
Google Ricky Megee, and there's some photos online that were taken just after he was found, and it shows how skinny he was. It was 48 kilos. So he looked like Skeletor, and the medical experts said he was actually fairly well hydrated, which makes sense because it was the wet season and there were bodies of water around, but obviously he couldn't get too much food into him and severely sunburnt and whatever else. So as I said, the events leading up to his ordeal remain a mystery. Police couldn't find anything sinister. So they couldn't find these people that, kidnapped him.
71 days, man. They're probably bounced.
His car was never found. All this sort of stuff doesn't really add up to how he was left in the middle of the desert.
Did they find a crack pipe on him?
Well,
because that should make you skinny.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he lives in Dubai at the moment.
Really?
He lives in Dubai.
He runs a construction crew in Dubai.
He loves the desert.
So
I love the desert so much.
he actually had quite a checkered history, we'll say. So there was a lot of skepticism about his tale, especially due to his prior criminal convictions. So he did. So actually, he did 3 years. There's some drug-related offences. He sort of had quite a few different jobs. I think before this job, he was like the one he was travelling to, the new one he was about to start. I think before that, he was sort of doing a bit of a construction maintenance type thing in Sydney. Or was it Brisbane? No, he was going from Brisbane to WA at the time. So, yeah, he'd worked in construction previously anyway. He'd also been a bouncer. He'd been a debt collector. He'd done a few different things. So because of his checkered past, there was obviously some skepticism and a lot of things didn't add up. He's just, as far as anyone can tell, he's just emerged out of the bush, skinny as fuck.
Just went on a mad fucking trip in the bush for probably like a month, didn't eat, and then come out the other side. Is like, yeah, this is my story.
Well, I mean,
Mad Bender.
Yeah,
it makes sense that actually he was just his past caught up with him and he was left out there intentionally or something. You don't know.
Nah, look, I've had a bender, like you go out and get pissed with the boys before, and I've ended up on the other side of Elizabeth River in Darwin, and
were you
not
naked?
knowing how I got there. I woke up out there
You're so
in a
naked
hotel,
and drinking your own piss?
in a hotel swimming pool, and I've sort of come to, and I'm swimming, and I'm like, where am I? You had to catch a ferry to get over there, which I do not remember, or it was a 4-hour drive around the coast. and I'm pretty sure I didn't drive.
So,
So look, man, he probably just had a wicked ass bender.
He
Forgot
did.
where he
probably
was.
did.
Forgot where he parked his car. Got
who
lost.
knows? I mean, he's pretty
And that's
keen.
how he still got his keys.
He's pretty keen for people to believe him.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he's written the autobiography, which he did 10 years after this. 4 years after this in 2010.
Oh, 4 years. Yeah.
But at the time, he even offered to eat a live frog on TV to prove he was telling the truth. How does that prove you're telling the truth? I don't know.
Right, they're like a delicacy in France. So why wouldn't you eat a frog?
Yes, Your Honour, I'm telling the truth. I will eat this frog to prove such truth.
So anyway, there you go. There's the story of Ricky Megee and how he seriously fucked up his rig.
I was going to say, we should try and contact him, eh?
It'd be funny. So yeah,
Let's do that.
he's in Dubai.
Fuck yeah.
We probably could. So anyway, yeah, he went from 105 kilos to 48 kilos in 71 days. He looked pretty fucked up. So there you go.
Nah, the dude was just ripping the bongs and ripping the fucking glass pipe, having a good time. And they went, shit, how can I make some money out of this?
Well, it's either a pretty awesome survival story or it's the mother of all hangover stories. Either way, it's a good yarn.
Or an intricate diet weight loss plan.
Yeah.
I don't really know that he profited from it too much. I don't know how many copies of his autobiography have sold, but there was.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a celebrity though. There's like, I got lost and got beat up by some people, and dingoes nearly ate me. So I'll write a biography. Like, why would you write an autobiography about that other than to make money?
Well,
Hang on. Are we missing the big point? Anything with dingoes in Australia, do you just automatically just go, yeah, right. Yeah. like, it's suddenly just not true because you're like, it's a fucking dingo.
Who knows?
Wait, what year was this?
06.
Oh, yeah, no,
recently.
Fucking bullshit.
No, 2000,
Fucking bullshit.
2006.
Nah, it didn't happen. Not a fucking chance.
So, yeah, you'd think he'd be able to find
Back
his
when
car or something.
He had a flip phone.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Well, even his stories he was telling when he first was found, it was there was one guy that he stopped to help, and then there was another one that said, or he said that he broke down, and then there was another one that said some hitchhikers stopped him and like spiked his drinks. So there's
this is him saying these things, or these are recounts from other people?
Yes. So either the media outlets misreporting what he said, or him saying different events. But I mean, if you're dazed and confused after being lost for 71 days in the bush, you might not recall things that clearly straight away.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So either way, it's a bit sketchy. Like the cops couldn't find anything sinister. Yeah, who knows? That remains a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Ricky.
Ryan, what have you got for us? Fucked up rigs.
Well, rigs is like, the whole, your rig. Like, what is it that you've got the body of something, right? So I was thinking about...
You got a body of an 80-year-old man.
I've got the body of an 80-year-old man that looks like a 30-year-old Magic Mike. So thank you very much, man.
What?
Yeah, only I'm taller and better looking. So, do you guys know what a tround is?
That come through my ears something completely different. So I'll let you explain that.
A tround. How do you spell it?
A tround. Do you know what a tround is?
No. How do you spell it? Tround? Tround?
Yeah.
No,
yeah, a tround.
No idea.
I can't believe I'm saying this. A tround is a triangular round.
Okay.
So if you go into our messenger right now, I've just posted the picture of a fucked up rig. If you go have a look at that, it's the Dardic revolver. I mean, the name itself has dick in it.
looks fucked up. It looks like someone's half made a pistol.
A Dardick revolver.
Tardic revolver.
The name's fitting, very fitting.
Yeah, so like for those playing at home, it's like you've got the normal the pistol grip with the trigger, and then it's like it goes up into the chamber, and then immediately goes to barrel. So there's nothing else. But a tround is a triangular round that was designed. It was designed. I think it was after the World War II, and patented. It was supposed to be this new sort of polymer projectile, but never took off. But it was supposed to be this like secret round that no one else could use. Like only you could use this round.
Like the old frozen bullet or whatever.
Yeah, which I think is a myth. Didn't they prove that was a myth?
Yeah, it was. They first said it like that was the round that killed Kennedy, but they proved that you can't do it.
Yeah,
Projectile.
The concept of the tround was that it was supposed to be ammunition that no one else could use, and a gun that no one else could use unless you had, which was true. And it was designed.
Yeah, because you died once you fired it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Ridiculous. It was fucking ridiculous. So it was instead of having a round cartridge, it was triangular shape, and it was a single shot. So you'd open up the chamber, drop a round in, and you could shoot it as normal, but you couldn't. It wasn't manufacturing was a massive fucking issue, and it looks ugly as fuck. So
it's a fucked up rig.
It's a fucked up rig, man.
I'm gonna go down a tangent here actually, because up until recently, I was doing a bit of research on the new caliber they're trying to introduce into the US Army, and it's a 6.8 mil round. Anyway, right when you think bullet technology has reached its sort of limitations, they've actually come up with, now this is not a tround or anything like that, but they've actually come up with polymer brass rounds.
So polymer casings instead of brass.
Casing, sorry, instead of brass.
So the whole thing is made out of plastic.
Well, no. So where your primer sits, that base is like a steel base, and then it's fused onto a polymer case, and then obviously you've got your normal projectile, copper and lead projectile. But the reason why they've done this is because they're actually getting better pressures or better velocities and higher pressures using the polymer brass, because there's no give in the polymer case, right? So there's no energy lost in fire forming
expansion
that brass. So this like super slick 6.8 mil is fucking, it's like at the forefront of ammunition technology at the moment. So it's not as far fetched as you think, having a plastic sort of
they actually look
or an odd shape.
They look pretty cool
round.
too, because
triangle seems ridiculous though. Like, can you imagine if
it does? But this brings me to, so there's 3 manufacturing companies that are all tendering for this new rifle for the army. They're all 6.8 millimeter rounds. One of them, the bullet and the powder and the primer is completely encased in a cylindrical, like a plastic case. So, and that's a full cylinder. There's no neck. There's no nothing. It's just a cylinder.
Wow.
So it's kind of it's not a triangle shape, but the concept, I guess, would be very similar.
It would be. I mean, the issue that you can see with that is different makes and models of rifle that you would use. So you'd have, like, you've got your standard sizing for rounds. That's like the iPhone all over again, where they only make certain things that are compatible with certain products.
Correct.
So this is the thing. in your section, you've basically got three sort of weapon platforms. One's your standard semi-auto that has a very basic full auto capability. The next one is your light support machine gun, which is your main fire support weapon system in your section. And then you've got your sort of like section marksman rifle. So it typically has a bit better accuracy than the previous two. They're making the 6.8 to suit all those platforms. And then, so, but yes,
Correct.
you couldn't sort of like go do an exercise with the Yanks and we're still rolling the old 5.56 and change rounds because it's a completely different system.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but to Ryan's point, these polymer rounds are to be used with purpose-built weaponry as well, because your standard rifle you have at home, the pressure is not going to be able to withstand what these polymer rounds need to be able to contain that round without basically blowing up the action.
Yeah, so I believe the chamber that they're using is proprietary technology, and the chamber is made to withstand the extreme pressures because these 6.8 mil cartridges that they've developed they're astronomically higher than like normal chamber pressures, and they're pushing like a good solid pill extremely quickly. So yeah, it is. The weapon systems are solely developed for it, and it is proprietary technology. So yeah.
Realistically, what application would this give you a leg up in? What would this platform and round be able to do in a realistic scenario that would give you a one up against the enemy?
Good, very good question. So this was solely developed, and the reason why the US Army wants to go to it is for the purpose of defeating body armor. Because body armor it's light years ahead of where it was, even 10 years ago. So our body armor technology is extremely good, and the 5.56 just doesn't have that penetrating power. Neither does the 308 actually, or the 7.62. Sorry, it just doesn't have that penetrating power. So, and the next war they foresee happening is fighting a uniformed enemy, so an enemy that has body armor capability. So they're sort of looking to the future and going, we need something to defeat body armor. And the way that you defeat body armor is speed.
Penetration.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, because like your
That's it.
if you say body armor, the standard, like for me, I think of Kevlar, and Kevlar fibers react through compression. So you're talking about having a round that moves so fast that the reaction of the fiber compress, like it moves quicker than the reaction of fiber compression. So
yeah, first things first, I think you can get level 3A Kevlar body armor, which will stop, I think, 7.62. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this. I can't actually remember. But typically it'll be mixed with a plate. Now, when we started with body armor, we had Kevlar inserts, and then we had a steel plate, and then that moved to ceramic. Ceramic was no good because once you've cracked ceramic, it just becomes weak. And obviously the first round with ceramic destroys, a round destroys ceramic in the first round quite easily. So we actually then went back to, I guess what we'd all know now as AR 500 steel plates. And
which is fucking heavy.
That is, but then they've made it thinner by putting a plastic coating on the outside of the steel plate, which has two purposes. One, to obviously initially help break up that round, but also to catch any of the spool that comes off from the round hitting the steel. And then typically behind that, we would have Kevlar inserts as well. But yeah, you're right. I do believe they do have Kevlar itself, which is like a material. It's like a flexible material, very light. I do believe that it can stop. I think Kevlar is rated to 3A level, which is like the equivalent to, I think, stopping a 308.
Yeah, so the Kevlar fibers, my understanding of it is that the Kevlar fiber, without having it depends on the energy applied to the fiber. So the fiber will go rigid, depending on the energy applied to it. So if you're just grabbing it and moving it, it's flexible. But if you punch it or put force against it, it stiffens. So that's sort of the application there. So the new rounds that you're talking about, so you're saying that they will move fast enough to penetrate the Kevlar and quicker than what the fibers would react to create that boundary.
Yeah. Like no matter what, the way you defeat all armor is speed beam. It's simply, if you can push that projectile fast enough, it's either cutting through the density or the stiffness of any body armor, no matter how quick it is to react.
Moral of the story is they're getting better performance with the polymer than they are with the traditional brass casing. So faster, better, basically. So there you go.
Yeah, but they got to restock all of their firing platforms, all of them.
Well,
you cannot
they do
get that around.
They do that periodically, though. The army will completely change what platform they're using. So if you're going to do that, why not do it in conjunction with the change of the rounds as well?
It's simply to keep up with the times. So they will.
The other thing I remember,
they will simply just upgrade their weapon systems to keep up with current,
which makes sense,
combative technology.
The other thing I remember watching in the video was the casings themselves. The brass ones get red hot, so if you've got like a machine gun going, these brass casings are going everywhere and they're burning hot. The plastic ones, they're not at all. They're not.
Now with that actually presents a problem with your chambers. So your chamber is heating up. Now, with brass, right, because your brass heats up, it actually takes heat away from the chamber because the brass is taking some of that heat and expelling it. Now, with the plastic, because plastic is non-conductive, the plastic is cool. So your actual chamber heat is also getting hotter quicker. Once again, I think it comes down to this proprietary tech that they use in their chamber, in the way they build their chamber.
So they're going to have
combat that.
Yeah, they're going to have to be spec'd up chambers.
Yeah, this is actually. I'm going to just do another rabbit hole here because they're also doing this with a new missile system, right? And I can't remember what it's called or how they actually propel it. Well, I can know the basics of how, but this missile system first launches and then it uses the oxygen out, like it pulls oxygen out of the air to make it like give it more thrust. So it's using it as fuel and it goes quicker. And so these projectiles that they're making now out of cannons or something of the sort are getting up to like Mach 17.
So it's a self-propelling
projectile. Yeah, it's fucking insane. These technologies that they're coming up with and the only reason why I brought that up is because obviously if a lump of lead is going Mach 17, whatever it hits, it's fucking up real bad.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about speed and beating armor. They're insane. It's fucking, man. The next war is going to be fucked up. but
you don't want to be anyone on the ground with that, man.
There you go.
Yeah, like the kinetic energy. There's no like a hot explosive in this round either. It's just the sole fact that the round is moving that fucking quick. When it hits a solid object, that's it. It creates mass energy and just fucking. That's the explosion.
I mean, the upside to that is also the need for your grunts to be able to shoot straight is pretty much non-existent. Because
it's more imperative, and their ability to engage at greater distances is more imperative as well. And the
That
6-8,
was a joke.
the engagement distance is
Was it? Because you told it
increased
so
dramatically.
deadpan, no one would fucking know.
Yeah, very deadpan. The joke was that the velocity, all right? So the kinetic energy of something hitting something else means that even if you clip your target, that they'll still have the impact of the kinetic energy going through them, which means if you don't hit them in the heart, they're going to die anyway. If you hit someone in the shoulder with a round like that, they're fucking dead.
Well, I'm presuming, it's going to create a more devastating wound channel.
Mate, if you get hit in
yeah.
the shoulder with something traveling that velocity, you're fucked. That's your whole rib cage being torn out of your body. That's not like a through and through. That's you're fucked. It's like being hit
We're
with a
painting a
kippy
lovely
cow.
picture here.
Well, that's what war is, man.
This is getting
An oil paint.
This is getting well off Ryan's fucked up rigs topic.
Yeah, how do we go from trounds to having your rib cage ripped out by a high velocity round?
I mean,
Sorry,
it was
I went
interesting
down
for a
rabbit
while.
hole, man.
It was interesting for a
Yeah.
while. Now we're getting to
Very
some
fucking
real
interesting.
fucking boring territory.
Yeah.
You got anything more to say about your trounds, Ryan?
Nah, that's it. I'm done. Josh, you're up.
What do you,
No, that's it. I'm done.
I'm fucking
A
done.
nice segue.
Trouns and polymer rounds, buddy. I'm a rapper.
Man, I think I've spoken too much as it is, actually.
so what? So you're just combining both. You've just done a joint presentation, basically.
No. I'll
We had a PowerPoint and everything.
we held hands.
Oh wait, so you are actually going to do a topic breakdown, Josh?
Yeah, look, I'll do a quick one, because we're probably pushing a bit of time here, but
That's just
I'll
how
do a
you
quick one.
operate.
And it's, hey,
It's standard for you. It's how you operate.
yeah, that's
Just a
true.
quickie.
So this is probably one that we all know of. Now, I would simply say, is this myth or real? Have we lost Ryan?
Nah,
He's decided to get up and walk around his fucking house. What is going on?
Good God.
nothing.
Is he?
All right.
Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen.
Ryan, your piss
continue.
sounds feminine.
Are you sitting down to do that?
Hey?
Are you sitting down to do that?
Yeah. So you sit down to piss?
This is fucking workplace harassment, man. I shouldn't have to listen to you pissing whilst conducting a podcast.
Adapt and overcome, motherfucker.
Like,
Everyone, I just want to point out, in real life, Caleb is actually normal. He likes to talk with class and shit, but he is normal.
no, I'm consistent, man. This is. I carry on and swear and whatever as much as the next person, man.
Normal, I'm consistent.
Like, what the fuck? Just because I know a few extra words.
Hang on, it's quality. Remember that, Ryan.
Exactly.
Quality.
Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity every time. You will never hear me just dribble shit
All right,
or dribble piss
so
like
just,
Ryan's doing currently. You're welcome.
Just jumping back on, I'm going to touch.
Did you
on a
flush
quick one.
just quietly?
Hey?
Did you even flush? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I did flush. Didn't you hear it?
No.
And I washed my hands because I'm a good boy.
Oh my god! Like this is this podcast first? Is this a podcast first? Actually
Hashtag
recording
COVID.
toilet breaks.
You know, we have a pause button.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
this very reason.
We're definitely not using that.
You could have just raised your hand and I could have paused this whole thing and everyone could have just not listened to the last 5 minutes of dribble. Anyway,
All right.
press on,
Go,
Joshua.
Josh.
I'm gonna move on so we don't have to listen to this fucking caper. Anyway, one that we've all probably heard before or heard about is the Russian sleep experiment.
Oh, God.
Now, if you want to talk about fucked up rigs,
What is your fascination with
all-
Russia?
I want all the listeners at home to jump on Google, fucking type in the words Russian sleep experiment, and look at the very first photo that comes up. Okay, this dude, it looks fucked up beyond all recognition.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory. So supposedly, now this is could be true or it could be false. I don't know. But in the 1940s, Russian researchers kept 5 prisoners awake for 15 days straight using an experimental gas
Oh, I've read this
stimulant.
shit. I've read this shit.
Yeah, it's super freaky, man. So apparently they were sealed in this like chamber where they had their own cots, and basically they pumped oxygen levels in with this gas that stimulated them to keep them awake for a certain amount of time. I think they were just trying to basically see how long these people could go without sleep. Anyway, they had cots to sleep on with bedding, no running water or a toilet. That's fucked up. And they only had enough food, dried food, to last them all about a month before they were locked in. So pretty fucking harsh conditions to go into. But at the start, the myth goes at the start, the prisoners basically were asked, do they want to participate in this experiment? If they survive, they will be let free. So they were all criminals, convicted criminals. They were given this opportunity to do this, and if they survived, they'd get their freedom. Does anyone? So you've heard about this, Caleb?
Yes, and I've also got to the end of this. So
Yeah.
I'll let you continue.
You got to the end of this.
No, I've got to the end. I'll let you continue for the listeners.
What do you mean you've got to the end?
I've got to the end. You can either keep telling your story, or I can tell you right now that it's fucking bullshit and that it's been disproven.
Yeah.
Has it? Because there's a couple of I've read this quite a few times.
It's an urban legend.
A couple of people.
They've traced the origin of it. It's all bullshit.
Where are you getting this from?
Dude, it's like the third one down on the internet.
Yeah, news articles, man. Like, it's an internet legend.
All you have to do is look at the picture, and human anatomy does not align with the picture that you're looking at.
Here we go. Dr. Smith is.
No. I'm in the fucking skepticism camp here because it's an internet legend. The oldest version can be traced back to a creepypasta wiki page in 2010.
I'm skeptical as well, to be perfectly honest, but at the same time, I wouldn't put it past Russians doing something like this.
It's because it's the Russians, isn't it? If it was the fucking English, you'd be calling bullshit. But it's the fucking Russians, and those guys are...
Is this why you're learning Russian so you can, talk to people who were there and, speak to them in their native tongue and get the real story?
No, I wouldn't expect...
Say, please, can I sleep in Russian?
I wouldn't expect English to be this perverse. Anyway, I'll give you a little rundown. So after 5 days, they started to complain about their circumstances that led them to where they were. And they started developing paranoia, in which they stopped talking to each other and began whispering into these two-way microphones. Now, they also had a one-way mirror so the scientists could supposedly observe them. Wait a second.
No, you're right, man. You're right. You're still coming through. We lost you for a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. I think my headphones just died. Anyway, let me get back to this.
Microphones, two-way mirrors.
The scientists had a two-way mirror. So they could observe them through this, and then obviously the two-way microphones so they could talk to each other. Oddly enough, hang on a second, they thought they could win the trust of the experimenters. So the guys that were kept in this room thought they could pretty much swindle their way out, which didn't work. Obviously, the scientists kept them in there. Anyway, 9 days they started to scream, just screaming at the top of their lungs for no reason, repeated yelling for hours straight, to the point where a couple of them actually destroyed their vocal cords. Now, is this possible? You're both musicians.
I play drums. I don't use my voice.
Can you sing to the point where you destroy your own vocal cords?
No, you lose your voice. So the whole losing your voice comes from a couple of different things. But if you work your voice box too much, you will lose your voice, but you won't become mute. If you leave it for a couple of days, you can still form the sounds, and you can still. It's like wearing out a muscle, essentially. But it heals itself, and you get like nodes on your voice, vocal cords and stuff. But you cannot make yourself mute by screaming.
But if you
Doesn't work
deep
like
throat a dick too vigorously, you can accidentally make yourself.
Oh,
See, I don't know.
like-
I don't know if you're being serious there, Caleb, or not, because you got like the enthusiasm of a fucking dead cat. So I don't know.
I was just trying to sound matter of fact. Matter of fact.
Matter of fact is, if you cop too much dick, you will go mute. Caleb, I don't know how you're still talking.
Yeah, he's talking from experience. Anyway, after 3 more days had passed, like these guys were defecating on the ground and shit like this, they changed the oxygen consumption in the chamber, and a couple of them died. And then I think there was like 2 that were sitting there, and they essentially ripped out their own fucking organs and shit like this in just going stark raving crazy. In the end, they were pretty much pleading with their captors to open the door and let them out. And then it got to the point where it just suddenly fell silent, right? So no, everyone stopped talking, yelling. There was no commotion and anything like this. So the captors decided to open the chamber. There was a bit of a tussle with one of them that was still alive. I think another one was still alive with half his guts out as well from the story. Which this is all just amazing. But anyway, there was a bit of a tussle, and the one that was in the tussle with the guards apparently turned around and said, "Let us back in there," and screamed and pleaded to actually stay in there after 15 days. In which the guards shot him because this one captive was wrestling with the head researcher, which was a female. And then the story goes, the guards then shot the scientists and closed down the whole entire operation, and killed anyone that could sit there and talk about it or be traced to it. I mean, pretty bleak outlook for them.
This would make a great horror movie.
I think it did. They made horror movies about this.
Make a great horror movie. Like the first time I came across this, I read about it. So I read that whole everything you've just described. I read it, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is fucked up. And I don't doubt that something similar to this has been done, right? But I got to the end of it, I'm like, oh my God, that is the most crazy thing I've ever read, because apparently these people just looked like otherworldly as well. Their physical appearance changed from the sleep deprivation. They just looked fucked up.
Yeah, like their eyes had suddenly caved right in, like from the photos. Yeah, they look like absolutely like emaciated.
Emaciated, yeah.
But, and just their skin suddenly didn't look like skin. Listen, like the listeners out there, you should Google it and have a look.
It's a great read, but what will happen is you'll get to the end of it like I did and just be like, okay, and then it tells you at the end, like, it's been proven it's just an internet thing.
Well, that's a couple.
It's a myth.
It's a myth.
Have proven or have said that, but not all of them turn around and say it's a myth at the end. That'd be
it's sensationalism, man. Like, they're trying to get it's clickbait.
It's a great read.
Anatomy in 15 days.
You can't last that long.
First of all, you'd be dead if you haven't eaten, and if you haven't slept.
They had
I don't
food.
know.
No, they had food, man. It was purely sleep deprivation.
Okay, so if it's purely sleep deprivation, then the physiological changes that they're going through would not happen through just sleep deprivation.
Well, they had this experimental gas to keep them alive. Look, in the 1940s, I actually wouldn't put it past really it happening. To be honest. And we all know that there was a lot of experimentation done with soldiers on LSD and things like that. And they were trialing gases and used gases in World War II and World War One. And obviously they needed to try those gases when they were being created on humans
Yeah.
or they
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
need to be, but they were.
I'm sure it's
So-
founded. I'm sure it's founded in something.
I'm looking at the picture now that you're referencing, and first of all, the muscular structure required to
Oh
grin
God!
like that.
Here we go. Doctor Skepticism again.
It just doesn't make sense for that to be realistic. And then you've got like complete there's muscle degeneration around the arms. It doesn't make sense, man. That's it's
But
definitely.
you'd think without physical exercise, you'd have some sort of deterioration in muscle. Whether it be to that extent, I don't know. I do know that sleep debt fucks with you, and you do look like
You look like
piece of
shit.
after
People
a
say
bit.
that
it
to
doesn't
you.
change
You look like death.
the
And that's
skeletal
without.
structure. The skeletal structure required to look like that is not human. You cannot change your bone structure, man.
Oh
It's bullshit.
God, Dr. Ryan.
I'm just saying, man. I'm a realist. I'm not going to fall for your shit.
No, well, it's an internet theory. Like it is
Look-
bullshit, but I'm sure it's founded in something.
To be honest, I think it's completely plausible.
No
Whether it
fucking
happened,
way.
I don't know, but I think the experiment is
Yeah, you
plausible
also
and
think that
probably
5G is
likely.
creating COVID.
It's a good
Hey.
read.
What'd you say, Ryan?
I said you also think that 5G created COVID.
Nah, no way. The Chinese made COVID.
Did they? Did they, Josh?
Yeah.
Or was it the Russians?
Nah, 100% it was the Chinese.
The
Well, there you go.
The
Thanks,
Germans.
Josh. That created some fucked up rigs, didn't it? That gas, those Russians. Oh my gosh.
It was the gas that made it happen.
All right. Well, let's continue on to our favourite segment of the show, which is
ND.
Negligent discharge.
there you go,
And we
Ryan.
have
Was
a-
that good button pressing
have-
for you?
We fucking have a corker this week, ladies and gentlemen. So if you like a good prank, this is definitely the ND for you. Josh, why don't you tell us, Josh, what happened?
No, I'll let the prankster.
Yeah, I don't think Josh should have to retell this. I think the prankster should outline what's going on here.
So we're in lockdown, right? And I was around the corner from the shops that I needed to go to get a couple of supplies, get some long-term supplies, like some.
Just tell the story. Stop embellishing. Fuck.
All right, so I decided to pull a prank. I had some help in writing a note to make it look like a
It wasn't your
disgruntled
handwriting.
Hey?
Make it look like it wasn't your handwriting, firstly.
Yeah, it wasn't my handwriting. I'm terrible at handwriting, by the way. If I'd written it, you would have taken one.
Looks like a
look at it
3-year-old scribbled.
So I had a note made up, a fake note of a disgruntled community member that observed Josh having a round fall out of his ute and then leaving it on the ground and then finding it and handing it into the police. I left that note on his windshield. And then things escalated from there. What actually happened, Josh? Did you call the cops?
Yeah, look. So actually, I'm actually staying down at my mum and dad's at the moment for lockdown, and my dad's come in and said, "Oh, this was on your car," and it's this note in this fucking big pen, fucking wrapper. Anyway,
'cause I didn't, it was going to rain. You've got to keep the note real.
yeah. So anyway, Dad's given it to me. I've opened it up, and I've read the note. I've actually thrown the note in the bin because it was like I threw it in the bin actually after I rang the police because like, oh, whatever. So the note basically said that a lady had observed a round fall out of my car at the local shops. And she was very upset, and it was dangerous, to like, it could have been potentially dangerous if a kid got it, picked it up or something like this. Now, a bit of a backstory. Tuesday before lockdown, I actually went through my entire car, like the whole lot, including my drawers, everything, like pulled the carpet out and fucking vacuumed. Like, I just went through my whole entire car and cleaned it. And we all know. Having said this, we all know when when we're out spotlighting or whatever, and you're in your car, you might shoot around and cycle it, and the spent cartridge gets washed away in the carpet, and you accidentally forget to pick it up or something like that. So it's plausible that something like this could happen. Anyway, Dad's given me the note. I've read it. I've sat there and gone, this is fucking sus. I've rung Caleb and I've said, Caleb, is this you? To which Caleb's like, nah, man, it's not. This is but Caleb also was sitting there stressing that it sounded pretty sus. So we went through who could possibly do it. We did mention you, Ryan, actually. And then we were both like, no, Ryan doesn't have the brains to pull something.
I don't have the brains to pull off a prank of that scale.
Yeah, we fucking wrote you off straight away. We knew, we could tell it was female writing.
Yes.
Straight away, like definitely female writing. But then I sort of said to Josh, well, it'd have to be an absolute Karen type person to go to that fucking level. And then like I had a bit of skepticism as well in the fact that if you went to the effort to take a round to the cops and report it, why would you then leave a letter as well?
Yeah.
It seemed a bit stupid. So we had a couple of conversations about it, and I sort of went, well, look, there's like a 1 in a million chance if it did happen, which I highly doubted it would. Someone spotted a round, fall out of your car, picked it up, and then took it upon themselves to write a fucking letter. Like 1 in a million chance of that, and it would have to be an absolute Karen, or this is a prank. That's where I left it.
And look,
I actually had this. I had this discussion because I was like, oh, Caleb wouldn't fall for anything like that, so it can't be Caleb. It's got to be Josh. Purely because
you're forgetting one thing here, man. Like, there's one thing I take very seriously, and that's firearm ownership, and because I love it. It's my sport, it's my hobby. It's our
that's why you're
podcast.
the perfect target, mate.
So, I took it very seriously, and look, I thought it was a prank, and I was in the same mindset, and I should have backed myself because I actually went through my car with a fine-tooth comb when I cleaned it because I was like, it was kind of a mess. And I should have backed myself, but I was like, you know what? It's plausible. There could be a chance that an empty shell has fallen out when we were spotlighting or something like that, and I haven't picked it up. So I thought, fuck, I'll ring the police and just let them know that, look, I'm aware of the situation. I got the letter, et cetera, just to cover my own ass. Anyway, I rang the police and I pretty much told them what happened. And long story short, the guy laughed at me and was like, bro, you'll be fine. And it was almost like, stop wasting my time. You'll be fine. So I sort of felt like, I felt a bit shit that I wasted his time, but at the same time, I was like, no, you know what? I'm just being responsible and doing my due diligence as a firearm owner.
What? How do you know that? How do you know that she? Like, what did you call your local?
Yeah. So
how do you know that she handed into them?
Well, man, if you're like, obviously, if someone has followed me to plant the letter on my car, so they know where I live, they're obviously living in the same area. They're not going to drive to fucking Glenelg cop shop to go down there, are they?
Exactly.
No. So and either or, I figured that, if I rang them, they'd have it on file and we can use it as a reference point. And once again, I've done my diligence and, and sort of like made an effort. After I did that, I think I thought about it for about half an hour more, and I looked at Dad, and I'm like, fuck it. And I picked up the rubbish, threw it in the bin, and went on with my life. And then at, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, or might have been later, 9 o'clock at night, I look at Send It, mate, our Instagram, and there you are with your cheeky little fucking grin, like, carrying on like a fucking, like a crazy person. And I was like, oh, okay. But I will give it to you. It was well played. Very, very well played. It was, and I honestly didn't think you would pull something like that off.
You don't even know me, man.
Yeah. I don't.
Do you know what?
Clearly.
Do you know what I did today? I changed the access codes on everything to my house out of fear of retaliation.
Yeah. Nah. Look, nah. It was well played. It was, yeah. I'll give it to you, man. I'll give it to you. Like it was.
I was
yeah.
genuinely concerned because I texted Caleb and I was like, "Hey man, this is what I did," and he was like, "That's fucking brilliant." And I thought, maybe I've gone too far. Maybe
Look,
because
I think if I went overboard and if it wasn't COVID, I would have gone down to the police station, but because it was COVID, I rang. Now, if I'd gone down to the police station, if I was you, I'd probably been like, "Fuck, yeah, it's gone way too far."
yeah.
But you're kind of lucky it was during the lockdown, and I rang and didn't go in.
But you know what? It's nice to know that if you ever had a round fall out of your car, you turn yourself in.
Mate, it's because firearm owners are responsible.
Yeah, look. What I didn't like was being put in the position of firstly being Josh's. Well, I didn't mind when I was just Josh's confidant and he was just ringing me and going, "Fuck, man, what's going on?" and talking it through. But then once it got to 6:30 and Ryan's like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing," I'm like, "Fuck." At that point, I felt like a dick because I'm like, well, yeah, I know what's going on here. Josh has been had, and I'm just the piggy in the middle that knows what's going on. So
The guy that instigates it, Caleb.
well, that's true, but I don't like just being the guy in the middle who knows what's going on. Working both sides.
I mean, after ringing the police, I sat and stewed on it for about half an hour, and I came to the conclusion, well, okay, there's fuck all I can do. You know, if it did happen, like it was complete and utter accident, and if it did happen,
as I said to you, how the fuck is anyone going to be able to prove like that it even happened anyway?
Yeah.
It's pretty far fetched.
Yeah,
definitely.
Even if it was a legitimate scenario and the cops came to your house, the only thing they're going to do is check to see that you're storing your guns the way that you should be, which you're doing anyway. So
yeah, and I think that's why I didn't really worry too bad. Don't get me wrong, when it first happened, like I was like, you know, when that TV shows how they like zoom into a mirror and it never ends, like it just like the picture just keeps generating.
He was genuinely concerned. What you should have done, Ryan, is worded me up. Then I could have recorded Josh's panicked phone call, the initial one where he's like, "Bro, are you playing a sick prank on me?" I'm like, "No, why? What's happened?"
Yeah.
Then you would have got some better content if you'd worded me out beforehand. But
you know what? To be honest, it was a complete spur of the moment thing because I actually went to the shops beforehand, and I was driving past your parents' house and I saw your ute, and I thought to myself, "Fuck, I should write a note." And so I turned around, because I literally parked at the front of your like just back from your house, and I was like, "Fuck, there's no way." And all of the front windows were open at your folks' place. And I'm thinking, there's no way that no one's not going to see a 6'4" fucking ginormous doing combat rolls out the front of their house. And I thought for sure someone had seen me put it on your car.
Well, you were pretty lucky because I was actually about to, go home actually to feed the stock. But I was contemplating about going for a pack march instead of going up to feed the stock. I thought I was going to shirk my adult responsibilities, and I thought I'll just put my pack on and go for a quick walk first. So I was going to leave the house about the time that I reckon you would have done it.
You would have come out and seen me.
And you know what? You know what? No stock was fed because I was stewing and sorting out this fucking goddamn prank.
Bloody hell.
So I was like, oh, probably a good thing actually, because I rocked up to my place today to go check on it, and there's this massive 30-foot or these two 30-foot trees that have come down across the road. I wouldn't have been able to deal with that yesterday, I don't reckon. But beside the point.
Yeah, well,
No, good joke.
Well played.
Well played.
just going to be very I went home today. I got home and I walked in the door and my bloody internet wasn't working. And my first thought is that Josh has somehow got into my house and changed the access code to my fucking internet. I'm going to be paranoid now. Every little thing that goes wrong, I'll be like, this is fucking Josh. Josh has done something to get back at me.
Nah. I'll do something, but you won't know when. I mean, it could be 6 months' time, could be 5 years' time, mate. Don't worry. It's all you need to know is it's coming.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of the position he's now put you in.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Ryan is
Yeah.
forever in fear of reprisal.
Maybe I need to prank you before you prank me back. Toofers.
Yeah, get in while the iron's hot, man. Because when the iron's cold.
Bloody hell. All right. What do you reckon, gentlemen? Should we wrap it for this week?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think we should. Yeah. So, by the way, we are still all over the Instas. If you want to, for those playing at home, if you want to see what actually happened, go to Send It Mate podcast on Instagram. It is all over the feed there. Have a look. Crack yourself up laughing. Otherwise, do we still have our website? Not website, our email. Does anyone still look at our email?
Like daily. Where do you go? Do you just fucking hibernate for the whole week and then come out on a Monday night? Like, what the fuck?
Pretty much. Because we all logged onto our email, but it's not connected to the things that I look at. Is that still monitored, or is it just not a thing?
Oh, just stop, Ryan, please. Look, if anyone wants to send an email, you will be attended to by myself, probably before these two clowns. So by all means, send emails, talk to us on Instagram. You can talk to us on Facebook. We love your feedback. We love talking to everyone. Thanks to everyone who gets involved. And I think...
And Caleb will put some enthusiasm into his response too.
I always do.
All I can see is Caleb's legs open.
Yep.
I can see his...
All he's got is like a point of view, like porn view, straight down with his legs spread open.
There you go. I just slipped a nut out on the podcast.
I feel like I'm watching the first 5 minutes of the what's it called? The couch. The what's that couch? Oh fuck, I've forgotten what I'm saying now.
Awesome. I think this is a perfect time to wrap it up.
Done.
Ryan's got short-term memory loss.
I just want to point that out, Caleb. Like tiny fucking nuts, eh?
Awesome.
That's tiny nuts.
We just flopped a nut out, mate.
Yeah, but how far back from the camera am I compared to you two?
Nah,
I've been looking up your...
I'm using your fingers as a reference, and fuck, dude, I'll be going to the doctors about that.
Mate, it's all perspective.
Stop beating off for 3 hours.
Wow.
Perspective, mate.
Wow.
Perspective. I'm going to come put a nut on the camera now, and then you can get some perspective. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're wrapping it up. Thanks for listening. We've been Send It Mate podcasts, and I've been Caleb.
I'm Josh.
I'm Ryan.
Barely. All right, catch you next week.
Catch you, ladies and gents.
Peace out.
G'day, dude and dudettes. Josh here. Do you find it hard to keep your long, hard barrels free from gun STDs? Maybe you need a clean out of your bore. If this is you, jump on over to highcaliber.com.au and use the promo code SENDITMATE to receive a 10% discount on all your gun cleaning needs. And remember, it's sexy to support Australian-made products. Everyone here at Send It Mate uses High Caliber, and we can promise you that it'll keep your firearms free from those pesky gun STDs.